Piece of cake. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hello and welcome back to another Minecraft video, and today I'm doing a second video on a custom pizzeria because you guys seem to really like the first one, which I must say thank you very much for all the support I've gotten. I tried to reply to every comment that I knew how to reply to, and I'm just super grateful. I wasn't expecting you guys to like it so much, so I hope you enjoy this new pizzeria that I'm going to build. It's for you guys. I built this one for you guys in particular, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Enjoyed it? What? No, I mean enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoy it. Anyway, let's get on with the build. Now, going into this, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to make the outside look like the Chuck E. Cheese Fast Freeze thing that MatPat would, you know, Photoshop into his videos. But I didn't know what the actual layout was going to be. And that actually got me quite a bit. I ended up making a lot of reworks for this build. And it took me quite a while to get the layout right, but I think I got there in the end, as you'll probably see. But I also put the tables down, just so I know where things would be, and I struggled quite a lot with that for some goddamn reason. Don't ask me why, I just don't know why I struggled so much, but I did. I finally got the layout correct for the dining area, and now it was time to move on to the hallway. Now for the hallway, I wanted the bathrooms to be right next, well, the first thing you see in the hallway, but I ended up changing that later. I then wanted to build the office, but I ended up immediately changing it to be Pirates Cove. And even then, when I changed it to Pirates Cove, I ended up changing it to a kitchen later. I mean, like, the back of the pizzeria was just really hard to get the map layout right, and I don't know why. I don't know why I struggled so much, but I did struggle quite a bit. And then I thought, hey, I'll leave the, you know, the Pirates Cove there, and then I'll have the office at the very end of the hallway. I didn't like that, so I ended up changing it again. You can see me building the office now, and I actually end up leaving the office there. So I actually deleted the office being at the end of the hallway, and then put it back there later. Like, what am I doing? Now that room I just removed was going to be the loading dock, but I didn't like where it was. It felt too out of place. So I replaced it and put it where you're currently seeing right now. And I think that was just a much better place for a loading dock. I thought it made a lot more sense to put it there, rather than having it in some random hallway behind the stage. And now we are working on the parts and service room where all the withered animatronics are going to be. Now, there are a few changes I have done off camera, but I'm not going to show you those because there are minor details that you guys probably wouldn't even notice. Okay, so I finished the layout of this building. Now, I think it's about time that I do the walls of this place. So hopefully I haven't forgotten anything, because if I have, that might become a bit of a problem. Gosh, I really hope I haven't forgotten anything. Luckily, I did not forget anything, but I did end up doing a lot of reworks to the color palette I thought I was going to choose. Like, with the walls, like the grey bits, I ended up changing the block to be more shiny but still dusty looking. And even then, I ended up changing the bottom, where the purple is, to a different color. I'm not that far in, and already I've made a critical change to the build. And with that change, I decided to put it back to what it was before, because I didn't like the change. And I also decided to start working on the front of the build, which I used frame blocks for, so that way the inside was still the same and the outside was different. Now, as I said earlier, I was doing a Chuck E. Cheese front, kind of, for the build, which I really like and I grew up seeing. Like, you know, all those videos of Five Nights at Freddy's in real life, or the Matt Pat theories. Man, those were the good old days. But, going back to the build, I then discovered that the front of it was not center. So then I had to rebuild it and then reshape it quite a few times before I found the right sort of pattern that I wanted. And then I realized after the right pattern that I found that it wouldn't really matter because there's going to be a massive sign over it anyway. Moving to the side of the front, I then decided to add a brick pillar just to finish off the details of the front of the build. I also decided to add it to the other side of the front, and then afterwards I decided to add a trim just to make the front look a little more finished before I actually go to finish it off. Right about now, I decided how much I hate the purple and I replaced it with this nice green block. I think it looks quite nice and I don't know why I didn't use this to begin with. And while I was at it, I finished off the rest of the walls. Now, as you can see, I have finished off with the rest of the walls and also I've done the floor. I mean, it may have taken me a couple of tries to get the walls right, but I think I got there in the end. I'm quite happy with how they look. So now that we've got the actual walls done, let's start doing the inside decorations. Now, I start off with the tables and there was quite a few options I had to choose from. Now, this was the first option. It was 1 block wide, but it was slightly, it went over it, the model went over it. And I chose 2 other variants. I didn't really like them, so I switched to, I chose the big tables, because the big tables just ended up looking a lot more nicer, and it made the place, it just fit well. I don't really know how to explain it. But after that, I decided to work on the prize counter. Now, the prize counter was probably one of the easiest places to decorate due to how simple the prize counter is in general. I started off by adding some wall decorations. I then added the Puppets music box. I tried putting it inside the prize counter, didn't work, so I put it on the outside. Then I decided to add the shelves, and I added the plushies on top of them just to make sure they weren't so barren and empty. I then fixed the order of the plushies on the shelf just a little bit to make it look a little more nicer. Then I added some stickers, some backpacks, and we're pretty much done for the prize corner. Now let's move on to Pirates Cove. Now for Pirates Cove, I knew I wanted a ball pit and I didn't want to just use the ball pit blocks. I wanted the balls to be kind of, 3D looking. So I thought I'd use balloons. And I used some frame blocks to do the actual frame for the ball pit. And I thought it came out quite nicely, to be honest. Now, I was struggling quite a bit to add arcades because for some magical reason, I decided to make the room super small. In hindsight, it wasn't exactly a good idea. I probably should have made the room bigger, but I've actually already finished the build, so there's nothing I can really do now. And I think that the arcade turned out pretty good anyway. I think it's turned out very well. I added Fruity Maze in there, because why not, and also a jukebox, and that's basically it for Pirates Cove. Now I'm going to drag your attention away just for a sec, because I want to build these archways for the entrance. And they are so hard, because I almost had to do it pixel by pixel. For the red frames I did, but for the inside it was really, really annoying, because I wanted to have that silver metallic look for the inside, and I wanted the red bits to be a border. And it took me an hour with help to do the first one, but luckily for me, it didn't take me that long to finish the second one. I mean, it's still a long time, but it didn't take me as long. And I think it turned out very nicely, to be honest. And yeah, it looked really, really good, and I don't regret spending the time doing it. I also decided to just use a doorway for the bathrooms rather than just adding another archway. Why, you ask? Because I don't hate myself. And with that being said, I finished off the rest of the build. Boo! I finished. As you just heard me say, because I literally just said that. But, welcome to the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Or I should say, the original location before the location I showed you that before. Now, there will be a bit of a quality difference between the two locations, but you don't need to worry about that, alright? You don't worry about that. Because there's no absolute reason as to why. Okay? Nothing, alright? There's nothing. Now, before we actually go inside, I do want you guys to see what I've done for outside. Because, unlike the last build, I've actually done an exterior. And I love it. I love what I've done with it. But first of all, a viewer of mine, he recommended me to add a mod called Immersive Cars. And I added it, and they're great. I love the immersive cars. I've tested around with them a bit, and it was awesome. I loved them. So thank you very much, dear viewer, for recommending me that. Now, let's have a look at the outside. Ignore the fact that the road doesn't... What? What? Huh? What? Hold on. Dude, what is this? Like, actually, I didn't add this to my world. Why is this here? What? Guys, I didn't add this. I don't know what to say. Who added this? What's going on right now? Why are the lights red? What? Okay, well, Well, that was quite weird. Ignoring the fact that God has descended upon my goddamn world to add that. This is what I did for the outside. I didn't do much, I'll be honest, but I did add a lot of trees with a little bit of variation in them, with the azalea trees and the spruce trees, I think it is. Yeah, spruce trees. I'm quite happy how it looks. It kind of looks very minimal space, like the back rooms. I know I said that wrong, but I don't care. I don't care. But I also did the roads. And I'm very happy with the roads, actually. I feel they are quite realistic, and I even did texturing for the footpaths, which, I gotta say, looks really good. I'm quite happy with how the texturing looks. But moving on to over here, we've got just some umbrella tent, areas, just so that way customers can hang out outside, some benches, we got some trash bins that nobody uses, and yeah, we've got some vending machines as well, with trash, of course, we gotta have the trash, but that is all for outside. Nothing really to see outside other than that. That was... Jeez, a very loud door, that one. God damn. Anyway, this is the lobby area. Now, it is very bare bones, I must say, but I think it actually benefits from the fact that it's bare bones. I think sometimes builds can just get a little too much detail, and I think that the bare bones of this makes it feel, I don't know, a little more complete. And we got like some railings that lead you to the main dining area. Now, I'm very happy with this stage. This stage, I did a lot of reworks to this stage. This stage, yeah, wow. I'm saying stage quite a lot, aren't I? Yeah, but with this stage, I actually had to change the block palette quite a lot because nothing I did worked, but I'm actually quite happy with the final product. I think this feels a little more complete, and it's a lot more nicer, I gotta say. I like it. But let's drag our attention over to the rest of the main dining hall. Now, all I did was really add some party hats on the tables. I don't feel like messing with any armor stands or entities to, like add some more stuff because you can't actually place anything up here without it being off the table. But we got a shoe rack here with next to a balloon boy that would, do balloons for you. We got the real balloon boy over here next to the merry-go-round. We got the puppet, the prize corner. It's looking rather nice, rather luxurious. Let's move on to Pirates Cove, or in other words, the arcade. Now, I did a couple of changes, just like while I didn't want to show you the finished product while I was doing the build. So I added some of these, flying birds, fixed the layout a bit. Added a slide, changed the stage a bit, and it's basically the same from that. Like, I did add some floor decorations though. Now, the arcade is actually very nice. I really like how the arcade looks, and I'm very proud of it as well. Overall, this building I'm just very proud of. I think it looks really nice. But we got the bathrooms here, yet again, a window. I did add like a little urinal here for the boys' bathroom. Not like, apart from that though, it's basically the same. I'll show you the safe room while I'm here, because somebody actually recommended that I do a safe room, but I forgot to do it in the last build, so I remembered this time. Now, this safe room, super creepy. I love how it's turned out. This is where William would go to slice and dice up those little orphans. Now, we got a golden free soup back here, because why not? We got a cake, we got the yellow rabbit, because he's a goofy little goober. And, just an overall more really creepy, withered down room, and I'm very happy with how this turned out. Super spooky, super spooky. I think it's about time we move on to the areas where the children aren't allowed to be, where all the adults go. Now, we'll start off with the manager's office, because the manager's office It's very classical looking, and I quite like it. I think that with the manager's office, I really wanted to do a very classic motif style, like, something you'd see in a fancy manner. And also we've got lots and lots of documents because the manager hasn't been managing this building. And this place is just drowning in crippling debt because, all good pizzerias are. And down here, we just have, just an ordinary hallway, the backstage hallway, if you will. We got a couple of spare heads for the animatronics, just in case they break. But we're going to move on to the goddamn loading dock. Now, this place is super cinematic. I love how this place turned out. It is just there's so much going on. It's got so much life in it. You got so many parts, toolboxes, spare parts, heads everywhere. It has so much going on, and I love it. These shells, by the way, are from a Chuck E. Cheese mod, and I love them. I should have added a Chuck E. Cheese mod sooner, because goddamn, that mod has some really good decorations. But we also have a power button right here, which actually turns off the power to the whole building. We also have a vent right here as well, so that animatronics can go in there. And that's basically it for that room, so we'll move on to the kitchen. Now, for the kitchen, it's quite big. And as I said in the last video, I'm not exactly good at building kitchens. So I had to, really try with this one. It looks very old. It looks a lot older than the last kitchen, and that's what I really wanted to go for. I wanted it to look old. We got some, shelves back here, some pizza, we got a fan. It's probably facing the wrong way, I'll be honest. I probably should have it facing the other way. But, it's there nonetheless. And we got everything a kitchen would need. Not really much to say about this room. It's just a kitchen, and it's quite nice. I'm very happy with how it turned out. But before we go into the office, we are going to have a look at the parts and service room where all the Withered animatronics are. Now, just like the loading dock, this room just breathes so much life and atmosphere. I love this room. Everything is in its place, and its place is random as balls. Look at this place. It's just so messy and grimy, and it just looks so well put together. And we got all the classic Withered animatronics right here. Bonnie and Chica, Freddy and Foxy. By the way, I forgot to mention, I actually fixed the vents so the animatronics can actually go in there this time. I'm not going to show that off, but eventually if I do release this map and you want to test it out, the animatronics do actually go in there, and it does work perfectly fine. From what I remember anyway. Yeah, this is the parts and service room, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. But I think it's about time that we stop faffing about and I show you not the manager's office, the security office. We got a rating room right here, so that way if you need to see a security guard, then you can, just wait out here, wait for your turn. We got a lot of posters out here, Pop Goes Evergreen, Sonic, that one, a lot of stuff. But yeah, we also got a Freddy poster out here too. And the office itself is super well decorated. I love how it turned out. I think it's super accurate to the original, but also got hints of the movie office as well. And I really like that blend. But we got the bog standard vents at the bottom. We got a phone, a hallway light right here, a working chair so you can sit down and do your security duties. A thing back here, a thing. It's a cabinet, Clancy. It's a cabinet. Yeah, we got a cabinet, some lockers. We got some filing cabinets here, a fan. I also added a fan down here that does ambience, and I really like the ambience for it. I'm happy that fan makes that noise, and I hope the mod developer for that fan never changes that. But let's see the security system. Now, there was a bit of problems with the last security system, but I fixed it in this location. The whole location is mapped out properly. The security cameras are easy to read. The location is facing in the right goddamn direction, and it's just so much more simpler. And I'm very happy with how the security cameras look. I mean, honestly, some of the shots in these cameras are just super creepy and atmospheric. I love it. Honestly, the camera work in this is just 1,000 times better than the last location. It's just so nice. I mean, look at that shot. That is just beautiful. I love that so much. It could be a thumbnail shot, to be honest with you. I might. You never know, guys, it might. But yeah, that's basically the camera system right there. And if you actually go into this desk, there is some security tablets just in case, you know, you want to do some free roam. So I think that's about it for the tour. I think I've explored every room. Yeah, I think I've explored every room. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Thank you so much for the support on the previous video yet again. I mean, honestly, it means the world. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Now, I'm going to answer a couple of questions before I head off. A lot of you had questions about what mods I was using and whatnot. Now, I have a lot of mods, so I don't think I'm going to list them all because it would make the description quite big. So I'll just do the main mods that I use, like all the Fnaf ones, frame blocks, you know, just the main stuff. And yeah, I thank you so much for all support on the last video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This pizzeria I built specifically for you guys as a thank you for the reception on the last video. Sorry it took so long, but you know, it's good quality. It's good quality, guys. I didn't want to just in case you're wondering about the map downloads, I'm not going to do map downloads quite yet. However, I will be doing them later on. If I reach 1k sometime this year, in subscriber count I gotta specify that, a subscriber count. If I reach 1,000 subscribers this year, I will find a way to release all these maps that I have built this year. Which, by the way, I will be making more maps, but this will not be my primary content. My primary content is just mostly Minecraft FNAF stuff now, with occasional horror games that I like to play with some face cams. So, if you guys enjoy that content, stick around, maybe consider subscribing. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys in the next video.